So if you're not making the money that you desire, then I'm going to walk you through an exercise that I walk agents through that I coach that I think you might find helpful, or at least that is my goal for this video. All right. So um, I think that the challenge for most real estate agents that are not earning the money that they want to earn, and again, maybe that's you. The thought process is, what do I have to start doing that I'm not doing right now that may lead to additional income opportunities? I understand that thought process. However, in my experience, both with myself and the thousands of real estate agents that I've coached, it's actually been the opposite of that has been true, which is it's not a process of what do I need to add, but more so a process of what we need to stop doing, such that if we do stop doing the things that we're doing now and we have more time on our hands to give to the things that are getting us the best result, that actually has produced much better results. And so I'll give you just an example, my own example, and then I'll walk you through some action items. All right. So in my own life, I struggled badly early in my career with shiny object syndrome. And it comes in many different forms. For me, it was having multiple businesses. For me, it was having multiple lead generation systems and strategies within inside of all of those businesses, of which I was responsible for execution on all of that, of course, as the business owner. And as a result, at the time, my income was at its lowest point and my stress was at the highest point. When I had multiple different things going on, I was stretched very, very thin because the mindset, again, I understand it. It's, I've got to start doing this. I've got to start doing this. I got to start doing this. Multiple streams of income. I need to hedge. So I need multiple different strategies going on in case this one doesn't work, so that this one starts to work. And so I've got to always be adding stuff to my plate. Many of you maybe are struggling with this right now from the standpoint of, Brandon, I am doing so much stuff and I'm still not earning the money that I desire. Well, like me, perhaps what's going on is that the process of elimination is the thing that would bring you greater clarity to allow you to focus on less, not more. So a recommendation, first and foremost, is to read a book that I read that helped me with this a lot. And that book is called Essentialism. And the whole idea is that we can become more productive by actually doing less in a society where it's very common that we feel like this whole grind culture to do more, to add more, oftentimes leads to worse results. So it wasn't until I started to really understand this, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago, where I started to eliminate things. I started to eliminate businesses. And it was scary at the time. I started to eliminate some of the marketing and some of the lead generation things that I was doing in those businesses. And as I started to do less and less and less and less, two things happened. Income went up, stress levels went down. And it wasn't until I really focused on one thing that my income now is at its highest point and my stress levels are at the lowest point as it relates to running and operating my business. And every time I've had a real estate agent do this exercise, they have told me that that is also the case for them. That when they look at this, and I'm going to give you, what do I have, 4 or 5 different action items I'm going to give you guys in a second. When I have an agent actually go through this process, they feel the same way. They feel like, okay, I feel less overwhelmed. I feel less stress. I feel less frustrated. And because I have this new sense of clarity, my income has actually gone up. All right. So let me share my screen and I'll walk you through a recommendation. All right. So, okay, we talked about doing less, not more. We talked about addition by subtraction. And so here are the action items, or the action steps rather. So number 1 is to source all of your closed business. All right. So the first thing that you want to do in moving towards this process of doing less, not more to create more income is to say, okay, where is my business that I'm doing right now? Where is it coming from? And so you would track all of those. Okay, let's just say you did 15 deals. All right, I did 5 from this source, I did 7 from this source, I did so on and so forth. That alone is going to help open up your eyes to say, okay, well, I spend a lot of time doing this lead generation thing and that lead generation thing. And that's only produced one of my 15 closings. And that's where I'm spending the most amount of time. And I got 14 of my closings from these other sources that I rarely spend any time on. As an example of that, this is probably the best example I can give you. For most agents that go through a business sourcing exercise and they source their business, oftentimes what they find is that the largest percentage of their closed transactions come from their sphere of influence or past clients or referrals. In that world is where they find most of their business. 30, 40, 50, 60% of their business is coming from that bucket. Yet, when we look at their proactive lead generation efforts, they spend the least amount of time in that bucket. Isn't that interesting? The area in which we find the most success in our business is often the case where we spend the least amount of effort and energy. And so as an example, okay, I'm not suggesting that is your particular case, but if that was you, I would challenge you if I was your coach. And I would say, okay, well, what are we doing if you're doing 15 deals and 13 of those transactions are coming from your sphere of influence, past clients, or referrals? What are we doing to scale that business model? And most agents that I talk to, they don't do very much. That business that are coming from that source it's like they're getting lucky. They're not doing anything proactive to generate business from that source of business. They're spending all their time doing other marketing activities. And so we would allocate their time, energy, and effort to the thing that's already working to scale that business. All right, that's just an example. All right. So the first thing we've got to do is source all of your closed transactions. The next thing that we're going to do is what I call a 30-day behavior tracking. All right. So for the next 30 days, what you're going to do, whether that be on a notepad or an iPad or just even on your phone, when it comes to the time in which you're working, you're going to track every activity, every behavior. And this is probably the most important part of this exercise for you to become extremely more productive. If you're going to scale your income, you're going to start to earn the money that you desire. This part 2, the 30-day behavior tracking, is vitally important. So don't overthink this. Everything that you do, just write it out. You just need 2 columns. What is the behavior and how much time did you spend in doing that activity? What is the activity? How much time did you spend? You're going to track that for 30 days. Be as detailed as possible, all right? So all the times that you have the urge to go to social media and scroll, that counts. All the time that you spend doing God knows what, you have to document it. Just trust me, just do it. As painful as it is going to be, don't cheat the system. I'm not going to include that. No, include everything. All right. So that's number 2. Number 3, then once you have that done, we're going to look at the 30-day tracker and we're going to break this up into 2 categories. All right. So maybe this would be a little bit easier if I do this. So once you have your behavior tracking done, you're going to break this up into 2 categories. You're going to say income producing, and then you're going to say non-income producing. And you're going to put in from the 30-day tracker, you're going to put in all of the actions that you took on each side of this with the time associated with that behavior. So in parentheses, you can say, okay, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, etc. And you're going to do that on both sides. If you're being honest and if you're being fair with this thing, your this is what this probably is going to look like for you, right? So it's probably going to look like this, where you have way more in the non-income producing activities than you do income producing activities. If you're really, really being honest, that's probably what this is going to look like, right? So you got associated time here. So you got 5 minutes here, you got 2 minutes here, you've got 20 minutes here, etc. Right? So you associate all the times next to those behaviors. Now, once you've done that, all right, so here's the key thing. So we talked about doing the income activity audit. We talked about doing the non-income activity audit, okay? So the key thing with this one is what you're going to do is start to say, okay, what are the things on this list that are vital that I have to continue to do, that I can't get rid of it? Okay, fine. Then what's going to be clear is this. You're going to go through this and you're going to say, okay, I can get rid of this. I can get rid of this. I can get rid of this, this, and this. And once you've identified, okay, these are the things that are just not leading to any additional income. They're not contributing to any of my happiness. They're not contributing to any client service. This is just me wasting time. All the stuff. We call it death by 1,000 cuts. All these little things. Now, on this little page, there's only a couple things. You're probably going to have tons of stuff on here that you can deem non-essential, that you can get rid of. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add up all the time that you're spending on these things over the last 30 days. And what you're going to see is X amount of time. That is newfound time. So this is newfound time. And what you're going to find is, wow, I cannot believe A, how much time I'm wasting on the things that actually don't drive business. And then B, the last step of this, all right, is what we call the new time allocation. We're going to say, okay, now that I've said, okay, in the last 30 days, I have found, let's just say you've got, I don't know, call it, to be fair, maybe you've got 2 hours per day of newfound time that you were wasting. So let's just say you work 5 days a week. You're a full-time real estate agent. There's 22 working days on average. So maybe you found another 44 hours per month of things that you're going to cut out of your life, of your business rather. Now we can say, okay, let's allocate that time into income producing activities. And this is how we really, really scale an agent's income. So now we've got 44 hours that we found that we were wasting, about 2 hours per day on whatever. Now we've got all that time to add into the things that are working. So if we go back up to this thing, maybe on the income producing side of the equation, let's just say that you're spending right now 90 minutes of day of prospecting. You're doing 30 minutes per day of, we'll say, lead follow-up. And then let's just say on average, you're spending 1 hour per day meeting new prospects. Okay. So let's just say that those are the things that you're doing on the income producing side. So you're spending right now, this is about 3 hours per day on income producing activities. All right. Now you almost just doubled that with the new 44 hours, right? So we have 3 hours per day times 22 days. So you're spending 66 hours right now in money-making activities. Now you can add the 44. Now we've got 110 hours in our bank to spend in money-making activities. So maybe we say, okay, I was spending 90 minutes a day in prospecting. What would things look like if I actually doubled that? If I went from 90 minutes, and I'll just give you averages, okay? So on average, you could talk to about 7 prospects per hour if you're really focused during your prospecting efforts. So in this case, someone that's prospecting for 90 minutes per day, they're probably talking to roughly 10 prospects or 10 people. Well, now we can double that. We can go to 20 prospects per day. And let's just look at what this would look like. So someone who's doing 20, we'll say contacts per day. Here's what the average conversions look like. I want to actually contribute a dollar amount because this video is about scaling your income. I want you to see the power of this entire productivity exercise and what it looks like. So if by doing this, you now have the time to make 20 contacts a day, where you're talking to 20 people a day. And maybe those, the makeup of that is you're going to do, let's just say you're going to talk to 5 for sale by owners. You're going to talk to 5 expired listings. You're going to talk to, we'll just say 5 absentee owners. And then you're going to do some just solds. You'll take 5 contacts around properties that just sold in your farm area. And that's how you're going to break up your contacts every day. Okay, here's what we know. If we break up the prospecting contacts this way, and this is how the contact distribution looks, we know that for every 10 conversations will generate about 1 lead. So in this case, all right, now every single day, you're generating 2 new seller leads per day. All right, 2 new leads per day. So on average, so 2 times 22, right? So what do we got? 2 times 22 days. It's 44 new seller leads per month. Well, here's what we also know. We know that about 20% of those leads turn into 1 listing appointment set. So of the 44 times 20% of that, now as a result, you should be able to set 8 listing appointments per month. Okay, whereas before, versus that person may be only setting 3 to 4 per month, now they're able to set 8 new listing appointments per month. Well, we also know only about 50% of those appointments that an agent sets actually turns into an appointment met. So now this agent who was setting 3 to 4 before, maybe only going on 1 or 2 listing appointments per month, now they're going on 4 listing appointments per month. So this is their METs. We also know the average agent converts at about 50%. So 50% is their listing taken. So if they meet with 4 people, on average, this agent now can start taking 2 listings per month or 24 per year. And if they sell 70% of those, which is the average, so 24 times 0.7, now they can be at 16 closed transactions. Average commission right now in this country is about, so if you look at the average sales price of about $400,000, and most agents are getting somewhere around 2 to 3%, 12 grand. So 12 grand times 16 transactions. This is how we get them to about $192,000 in GCI. This is just in a really simplistic exercise of finding time, of growing the. This is the difference between an agent that's making $40,000, $50,000 a year, as the average real estate agent does in this country, to the agent that makes 6 or multiple 6 figures per year. It's a process of elimination so that you have the time to spend on the things that are actually making you money. And so I'm going to encourage all of you to actually do this. It's easy for you to just, listen to this advice or listen to this video and say, yeah, I get it. But some of you will actually do this, and you're going to find how much time you are actually wasting in your business doing things that are not contributing to your family, that are not contributing to your income, that are not contributing to your lifestyle, that are not contributing to your happiness, that you'll be able to eliminate from your business so that you have new time to spend on the things that actually are moving the needle.